You're preparing for an important interview but feel worried because you're not confident in your English yet? Don't worry. Welcome to Learning English HTC, where we help you conquer every interview in English with ease. Get ready. Let's get started now.
Good morning, Emma. Thanks for coming in today.
Good morning, Jack. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Let's begin by having you introduce yourself and tell me what sparked your interest in AI and data science.
Sure. I recently graduated from Ho Chi Minh City University of Technology with a degree in computer science. During my time at university, I became fascinated by how data can be used to uncover patterns and make predictions. I took several courses in machine learning and data analysis, and even worked on a few small projects using Python and scikit-learn. That really motivated me to pursue a career in this field.
That's a good start. Can you walk me through one of your university projects involving AI or data science?
Of course, one project I'm proud of involved predicting student exam performance based on study habits and attendance. We used a data set from Kaggle and applied a logistic regression model to classify whether students were likely to pass. I was responsible for data preprocessing, feature selection, and model evaluation. I also experimented with decision trees and compared their performance using accuracy and F1 score.
Sounds interesting. What were the biggest challenges you faced in that project and how did you solve them?
One challenge was dealing with missing and inconsistent data. Some entries had incomplete attendance records or incorrect labels. I applied imputation techniques like mean substitution and used cross-validation to ensure the model wasn't overfitting. Another challenge was class imbalance, which we handled using SMOTE to oversample the minority class.
Excellent. Let's dive deeper into machine learning. Can you explain the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning with examples?
Sure, supervised learning involves training a model using labeled data. For example, predicting house prices using historical sales data. In contrast, unsupervised learning works with unlabeled data to identify hidden patterns. An example would be customer segmentation using clustering algorithms like k-means.
Nice. Suppose we give you a large data set of customer transactions. What steps would you take to prepare the data for a machine learning model?
First, I would explore the dataset using EDA techniques to understand distributions and identify anomalies. Then, I would handle missing values and outliers, encode categorical variables, and normalize numerical features. Feature engineering would follow, where I create new relevant features. Finally, I'd split the data into training and test sets and apply cross-validation.
Good. Let's talk about tools. What tools and languages are you most comfortable with in the context of data science?
I'm most familiar with Python and libraries like Pandas, NumPy, scikit-learn, and Matplotlib. I also have experience with Jupyter Notebooks and have worked with SQL for data extraction. Recently, I've been learning about TensorFlow and PyTorch for deep learning.
Do you have any experience with cloud platforms or big data frameworks like Hadoop or Spark?
Some key features could be tenure, performance ratings, salary changes, number of projects, working hours, and job satisfaction scores. I'd also consider factors like department, management changes, and maybe results from employee surveys.
That's fair. Let's do a bit of technical thinking. Imagine we're trying to predict employee churn. What features would you consider including in your model?
I'd say overfitting is when a model learns the training data too well, including the noise, so it doesn't perform well on new data. It's like memorizing practice questions without understanding the concepts. Underfitting is the opposite. The model is too simple and doesn't capture important patterns, like trying to use a straight line to describe a complex curve.
Good thought process. Now, let me ask a more theoretical question. How would you explain overfitting and underfitting to a non-technical stakeholder?
I haven't had hands-on experience yet, but I've studied the basics of Spark in one of my data engineering courses. I understand concepts like RDDs and data frames and how Spark is used for distributed processing. I'd love to get real-world experience with those tools.
That's a great analogy. How do you usually evaluate the performance of a machine learning model?
It depends on the problem. For classification, I use metrics like accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 score. For regression, I rely on R, MSE, and R squared. I also check for bias and variance and use learning curves to detect overfitting or underfitting.
Let's switch gears. How do you stay updated with the fast-changing AI landscape?
I follow blogs like Towards Data Science, read Medium articles, and participate in communities like Kaggle. I also watch YouTube channels like StatQuest and attend online courses on Coursera or EDX when I can.
Good initiative. Now imagine you're assigned to a team project as a junior AI engineer. What would you do to ensure you learn and contribute effectively?
I'd begin by understanding the project goals and asking clear questions when I need help. I'd take on smaller tasks at first, such as data cleaning or documentation, while observing how senior engineers work. I'd also seek feedback regularly to improve and gradually take on more complex tasks.
Great mindset. Finally, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years in the AI field?
I hope to become a skilled data scientist who can contribute to building impactful AI solutions. I'd like to specialize in natural language processing or computer vision, and eventually mentor junior team members as I grow.
That's a solid vision, Emma. Thank you for your thoughtful responses today. Do you have any questions for me or about HTC?
That sounds amazing. I really appreciate the opportunity and look forward to possibly working with your team.
That's a great question. At HTC, we're currently focusing on predictive analytics for smart cities and customer behavior modeling in e-commerce. Juniors usually start with data wrangling and exploratory analysis, and we encourage rapid upskilling with mentoring and hands-on projects. You'd be guided closely at the start.
Yes, thank you. I'd love to know more about the types of AI projects your team is currently working on and how junior engineers typically contribute.
Likewise. Thanks again, Emma. We'll be in touch soon.
Welcome to the second sample interview questions for sales staff.
Good morning, Emma. It's great to meet you. Thanks for coming in today. How are you feeling?
Good morning, Jack. Thank you for having me. I'm feeling a little nervous, but very excited about this opportunity.
That's perfectly normal. Let's keep this conversation relaxed. I'd love to hear more about your background. Could you briefly introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Emma. I recently graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science from Polytechnic University. During my studies, I focused on machine learning, data analytics, and participated in several AI-related projects. While I haven't had formal work experience, I've been actively working on personal projects, competitions, and online courses to deepen my skills.
That's great. Can you walk me through a specific AI or data science project you worked on during university? What was the objective, and what tools or techniques did you use?
Certainly. One of the main projects I worked on was a movie recommendation system. Our goal was to predict what movies a user might enjoy based on their previous ratings. We used collaborative filtering techniques, primarily with matrix factorization. I built the model using Python, NumPy, and scikit-learn. We also visualized the results with Seaborn and Matplotlib to analyze user behavior patterns.
Interesting. How did you evaluate the model's performance?
We used RMSE, root mean square error, as our main evaluation metric. We also split the dataset into training and test sets using an 80-20 split and applied cross-validation to ensure the model wasn't overfitting.
Let's dive deeper into technical knowledge. Can you explain the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning with examples?
Of course, supervised learning is when the model is trained on labeled data, where we already know the target outcome. A classic example is predicting house prices based on features like size, location, and age. Unsupervised learning deals with unlabeled data, and the model tries to find hidden patterns. Clustering is a good example. For instance, grouping customers by their purchasing behavior without predefined labels.
Good explanation. In the context of supervised learning, what are the differences between classification and regression?
Classification is about predicting categorical outcomes, like whether an email is spam or not. Regression is used when predicting continuous values, like predicting a student's test score or a stock price.
Nice. Have you worked with any deep learning frameworks?
Yes, I've worked with TensorFlow and Keras for building simple neural networks. For example, I trained a CNN to classify handwritten digits from the MNIST dataset, and I also tried using transfer learning with pre-trained models for image classification.
As a data scientist, cleaning and pre-processing data is crucial. How do you typically handle missing or inconsistent data?
Depending on the nature of the data, I use different strategies. If the missing data is minimal, I might drop those rows. In other cases, I impute missing values using the mean, median, or even model-based imputation. For categorical features, I sometimes use the mode or create a special category for unknown. I also check for outliers and normalize features if needed.
And what about feature engineering? Have you done any transformations that improved your models?
Yes. In one project, I worked on time series sales data and adding features like moving averages, lag variables, and time-based indicators, like day of the week or holiday flags, improved our model's accuracy significantly.
Let's do a quick scenario. Imagine you've been given a dataset to predict customer churn. What steps would you take?
First, I'd understand the business goal, what churn means specifically for the company. Then, I'd explore the dataset, perform EDA to understand the patterns, check for imbalance in the target variable, and pre-process the data. I'd select appropriate models, probably start with logistic regression or decision trees, and use cross-validation for evaluation. Finally, I'd use metrics like precision, recall, and F1 score, especially if the dataset is imbalanced.
Why did you choose to pursue a career in AI and data science?
I'm fascinated by how we can extract insights from data to make informed decisions. AI also has incredible potential to solve real-world problems, from healthcare to climate science, and I want to be part of that impact.
What trends in AI or data science do you find most exciting right now?
I'm really excited about the progress in generative AI, like large language models and diffusion models. Also, the ethical aspects of AI are becoming more important, and I'm interested in learning how to build fair and responsible models.
Tell me about a time you had to collaborate on a technical project. How did you handle disagreements or different opinions?
During our capstone project, we had differing opinions about the model selection. I facilitated a discussion where each member explained their approach and supported it with data. We agreed to prototype both approaches and chose the one with better performance. Communication and mutual respect were key.
How do you handle pressure or tight deadlines?
I break down tasks, prioritize the most critical components, and communicate proactively with my team. I find that staying organized and calm helps me maintain focus under pressure.
Thanks, Emma. It's been great speaking with you. Do you have any questions for me or about the role?
Yes, thank you. I'd love to know more about the kind of projects a junior AI engineer would typically work on at HTC and what kind of mentorship is available.
Great question. Our junior engineers start by contributing to real projects with guidance from senior data scientists. We emphasize continuous learning and provide regular feedback, access to learning resources, and mentorship. You'd definitely be supported here.
That sounds wonderful. I really appreciate the opportunity to interview with you today.
Likewise, Emma. We'll be in touch soon. Have a great day. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope these tips will help you feel more confident in your English interviews. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any valuable content in the future.